long before the walls of Jericho trembled, before the trumpets of Israel sounded across the valley, before the first city of Canaan collapsed into dust. There was a woman whose life seemed too broken to matter. Her name was Rahab. History remembers Jericho as a mighty fortress, a city of towering walls, iron gates, and seasoned warriors. It was the first obstacle standing between the Israelites and the land God had promised them centuries earlier. To conquer Canaan, Jericho had to fall. But the fall of Jericho did not begin with marching soldiers or blaring trumpets. It began in the house of a woman everyone else had written off. Rahab was a prostitute. Her home was built directly into the wall of Jericho, a place where merchants, travelers, and strangers passed through. In the eyes of society, Rahab's identity was fixed. She lived on the margins of a proud city, a woman whose reputation was stained, a woman many would avoid in daylight but secretly visit at night. If you had asked the citizens of Jericho whose life could influence the fate of a nation, Rahab would have been the last person anyone would mention. Yet heaven had already written her name into one of the most surprising chapters in biblical history. Because when God moves through history, he does not always begin with kings. Sometimes he begins with the forgotten. The Israelites had been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. An entire generation had passed away after refusing to trust God when they first approached the promised land. Now a new generation stood on the eastern side of the Jordan River. Their leader was Joshua. Joshua had served under Moses. He had seen the Red Sea split open. He had watched manna fall from heaven and water burst from rock. Now the responsibility of leading Israel into Canaan rested on his shoulders. But before launching the attack on Jericho, Joshua did something strategic. He sent 2 spies into the city. Their mission was simple: enter Jericho secretly, observe the city, and return with information about its defenses. But Jericho was on high alert. Word had already spread about Israel's God, the God who had shattered Egypt with plagues, the God who parted the Red Sea, the God who had defeated powerful kings in the wilderness. Fear was spreading through the cities of Canaan like wildfire. When the 2 spies entered Jericho, they needed a place where strangers would not attract attention. So they went to Rahab's house. At first glance, it seemed like coincidence. But in the story God was writing, there are no coincidences. Someone noticed the spies entering Rahab's home. The news quickly reached the king of Jericho. 2 Israelite spies were inside the city. The king immediately sent a message to Rahab. Bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, because they have come to spy out the whole land. The command was clear: hand them over. In that moment, Rahab faced a choice that could cost her life. She could obey the king and protect herself, or she could protect the spies and risk execution for treason. Rahab chose the second, but her decision was not random. Something had already changed inside her. Before the king's soldiers arrived, Rahab had taken the 2 spies and hidden them on the roof of her house beneath stalks of drying flax. Then she went down to meet the king's messengers. Yes, the men came to me, she admitted, but I did not know where they were from. At dusk, when the city gate was about to close, they left. I don't know which way they went. Go after them quickly. You may catch them. Her words sent the soldiers rushing toward the Jordan River. Meanwhile, the spies remained hidden on Rahab's rooftop. But Rahab had not helped them merely out of kindness. That night, she climbed to the roof to speak with the men she had just saved. What she told them revealed the real reason behind her courage. I know that the Lord has given you this land, she said. Those words were astonishing. Rahab was not an Israelite. She did not grow up hearing the stories of Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. She did not witness the miracles of Egypt or the wilderness. Yet somehow she had come to believe that Israel's God was real, and that his power could not be stopped. We have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea when you came out of Egypt, she continued, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you completely destroyed. The rumors of Israel's victories had shaken Jericho's confidence. Rahab explained what was happening inside the city. When we heard of it, our hearts melted in fear. Every citizen of Jericho knew something terrifying. Israel's God was coming, and Jericho could not stop him. But Rahab's next words revealed something deeper. For the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below. This was not just fear, this was faith. Rahab, the woman society rejected, had come to recognize the authority of the living God. She believed what many in Israel themselves sometimes struggled to believe. God rules heaven and earth. And once Rahab believed that truth, her decision became clear. She asked the spies for mercy. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family, because I have shown kindness to you. She did not ask for gold. She did not ask for status. She asked for life. Save my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them. Rahab knew Jericho would fall. She just wanted her family to survive when it did. The spies agreed. Our lives for your lives, they promised. But there was one condition. Rahab's house would be spared only if she tied a scarlet cord in the window. The same window through which she would help the spies escape the city, and everyone she wanted to save had to remain inside that house when Israel attacked. Rahab accepted immediately. Then she lowered the spies through the window in the city wall. Before they disappeared into the night, she gave them instructions to hide in the nearby hills for 3 days until the king's search party returned. Once the soldiers were gone, they could safely return to Joshua. And just like that, Rahab the prostitute became part of Israel's mission. Days later, the Israelites crossed the Jordan River. Jericho stood directly ahead. The city shut its gates tight. No one entered. No one left. Then something strange began to happen. Instead of launching a traditional siege, Joshua ordered the army to march around the city once each day. 7 priests carried trumpets before the Ark of the Covenant. Behind them followed the silent army of Israel. For 6 days they circled Jericho once and returned to camp. The people of Jericho watched from the walls in confusion. What kind of army attacks by marching silently? But on the 7th day, everything changed. Israel marched around the city 7 times. Then Joshua gave the command. The priests blew their trumpets. The people shouted with all their strength. And the impossible happened. The walls of Jericho collapsed. Stone that had stood for generations crumbled in an instant. The city's defenses, once thought invincible, became piles of rubble. But in the midst of the destruction, one section of wall remained standing. Rahab's house. The scarlet cord still hung in the window. Joshua gave a special command to the 2 spies. Go into the prostitute's house and bring her out and all who belong to her, in accordance with your oath. They rushed into the city, found Rahab, and brought her out along with her father, mother, brothers, and relatives. While Jericho burned, Rahab's family stood safely outside the camp of Israel. The woman who had once lived on the margins of Jericho was now alive because she chose faith over fear. But Rahab's story does not end there. After Jericho's destruction, Rahab did something extraordinary. She joined the people of Israel. A former prostitute from a pagan city became part of God's covenant community. In a culture where outsiders were rarely accepted easily, Rahab was welcomed, but her legacy would grow even greater. Rahab later married a man named Salmon from the tribe of Judah. Together they had a son named Boaz. Boaz would one day marry Ruth, another outsider who placed her faith in Israel's God. Their family line continued through Obed, Jesse, and eventually King David. And centuries later, when the Gospel of Matthew recorded the genealogy of Jesus, Rahab's name appeared in the lineage. Rahab the prostitute became an ancestor of the Messiah. Think about that for a moment. A woman from Jericho, a woman with a reputation many would consider unforgivable. a woman who once lived in a city condemned for destruction. God did not erase her past before using her. He redeemed it. The New Testament later honors Rahab for her faith. In the great Hall of Faith in Hebrews 11, Rahab stands alongside giants like Abraham, Moses, and David. By faith, the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. Her faith made the difference. Not her past, not her reputation, not her social status, her faith. The book of James also highlights Rahab's story as an example of faith that leads to action. Rahab did not simply believe that God was powerful. She acted on that belief, even when it meant risking her life. And through one courageous decision, Rahab changed the course of history. Because if Rahab had betrayed the spies, Israel's first battle in Canaan might have unfolded very differently. If Rahab had chosen safety over faith, her family would have died with Jericho. If Rahab had believed the lies her city told about Israel's God, she would never have stepped into the story God was writing. But Rahab saw something others ignored. She recognized that when God moves, resistance is pointless. Faith is the only wise response. Her scarlet cord hanging in the window became a symbol of rescue, a reminder that even in judgment, God provides a path for mercy. And Rahab's story sends a message that echoes through every generation. No past is too broken for redemption. No reputation is too damaged for grace. No person is too far gone for God to use. In a city destined for destruction, one woman believed. And because she believed, her life became a bridge between judgment and salvation. The fall of Jericho is remembered as a military miracle. But hidden within that miracle is an even deeper story. The story of a woman who dared to believe that God could rewrite her future. Rahab the prostitute, the woman who helped bring down a city, the woman who saved her family, the woman who became part of the bloodline of the Messiah. And proof that sometimes the people God uses most powerfully are the ones the world least expects.